video series, Community. Reliance House Incorporated is based in historic downtown Norwich. The main office of Reliance House, found at 40 Broadway, is just steps away from the City Hall building. Other facilities of Reliance House can be found throughout Norwich and expanded to the greater Norwich area, encompassing such towns as Basra, Mudville, Sprague, and Franklin. Here are some of the staff at Reliance House and their thoughts on how Reliance House interacts with and impacts the community of Norwich.
I think what Reliance House does, and it's a big statement, but I really think it's true, is they bust down a lot of stigma surrounding mental illness. A lot of the stigma that's associated with people who work in the mental health field, and a lot of the stigma that people with mental illness are faced with, and a lot of the self-stigma that the members themselves have about each other. You know, I act this way because I have a mental illness. I think a lot of times they believe that because what they hear on the outside, and I think Reliance House has done a really, really good job of breaking that down. Even within the community, they're known as a really go-to agency when people need help. It's not about being nuts or crazy or those really negative labels that come out. It's about humans who need services. And again, I think the language expresses that. And when you hear people in the community who work at Reliance House talking about what they do, a lot of people wouldn't suspect that you're working with people with mental illness because you're not using those labels and that kind of language. So I think as a whole, it's really reduced the stigma, especially coming from a town where the state hospital had been closed down and people really felt that the labels they used were appropriate because there might have been a kernel of truth to it because we're in a town where there is a big state hospital. But I think Reliance House has shown the bigger picture to a lot of people.
I do know, I'm involved in a few commissions out in the Norwich area, and I touch base with a lot of maybe employers, I'd say, or even residents of the area. And whenever asked where I work, I mention Reliance House, and they know about it. You know, it's not, they already know what we do and what kind of great job we do. So it's a nice feeling to be linked to this agency. I do know that there's still a lot of stigma around mental illness, and that's just a lack of education. And Reliance House is doing their best, really, to explore how we can kind of fix that, in a sense. But Norwich itself, I think we've been around for 30 plus years. We have a great name in the community. So
you gotta remember that our people are, you know, they're disabled, but they do a lot of volunteer work in the community. They're in contact. Our members are in contact with our legislators and our representatives. They do volunteer work in the community. They're shoppers and consumers, and they have a big impact on local retail and churches and all the institutions that are involved in the community. So I mean, they're part of the community. They are interwoven in the community. They're part of the fabric. So.
Thank you for watching Part 7 of our video series, Community. Please stay tuned for Part 8 of our video series, Contact Information. And thank you again for watching.